I see many people spending like 2 hours or more in PowerPoint trying to design a timeline like that, and they don't even know that they can create a professional one using Excel in just 10 minutes. Yes, that's true, in just 10 minutes. Moreover, it's dynamic and you only need to set it up once, and congratulations, now you have got a template that can be used many times in your future projects. So in today's video, I'm walking you through step by step how to create a professional timeline chart using only Excel. Before we start, and as usual, let me tell you that the file we will be using in this video is linked below in the description. You can download it and follow along with me step by step. So let's get started by checking the data that we'll be working on it for our today's video. It's a very simple table that including in it two different columns. The first one is the date and the second one is a milestone that might change based on your milestones or based on your project. So let's get started with it. And let me tell you that this data is structured as a table and you can notice it from the arrow or icon down there. As you all know that Excel not including any timeline chart, so we are going to build it ourselves. And in order to do that, we need to create a helper column that will be used in the next few minutes to build our timeline. So let's call it, for example, as level, and then press enter so it's dynamically or automatically created as we are putting it in our table structure. And to make it more easier, let's add a static number into it, for example 10, and drag it down to the last row. So now our data is ready. Let's create our timeline. Firstly, we need to select the date column and the level column like that. And from insert menu, we'll go to charts, and from charts, we will select the line chart. Then we will choose the line with markers. Let's make it a little bit bigger so we can work on it, and we just need to do some manipulation on it to fit our project. Firstly, we will delete the grid lines, and then we will double click on the horizontal axis to open the format axis, and for the minimum and maximum we will set it as the 1st of Jan 2026, and the maximum or last day is the 30th of December 2026. Then we can press enter. The next step was selecting our data, and then from the plus icon we can add some elements, and the most important one we need is to add the error bars, which usually be used to highlight the deviation or the errors between the data that entered inside the chart. But today we are going to use it in a different way, so we are going to select it, and from that right arrow we'll click on it, and then we will go to more options. From more options, let's select the error bars option and change some settings in it. The first thing we need to change is to select the minus for the direction and no cap for end style and percentage for error amount and set it as 100. Then we can press enter to see the visual like that. Second thing we need to do is to hide that line from the chart. So we are going to select it, and from fill and line we will go to line and then we'll select no line. After that, let's navigate to the marker and do some updates on it. For the color, we are going to select any color we need for the marker. So let's select the solid fill and we'll go for the dark blue like that. And for the border, we will use no border. Let's go to the marker option. We can select any built-in visual we need. For example, we will select that circle one, and let's change the size into 8 or 7 or anything you need. Make sure that no line selected for the border. Here we go. So it's not actually seems to be more professional as we were speaking before. But why is that? Because we already fixed the number as 10 from the beginning. But for example, if we choose that value and change it into minus 25, you will see that it's getting changed and start to be more clearer. But how we can do that if we have multiple milestones? So for example, here in our table we have 14 milestones we are working on. What if you have stages like 50 stages or even 20 stages, that will be a hassle for you to change it manually. So we are going to use a dynamic function that can help you to adjust the visual dynamically anytime you are going to add some data in it. At this point, we are going to use choose function because it's a dynamic function and give us some flexibility to choose between numbers. So let's start it with equal and then type choose. For the index number here, let's use another function which is mod, and then for the number here we need to make it more dynamically. So let's choose row to be dynamic. With each row we are dragging our formula in, and then after pressing comma, moving now to the divisor. In that part, type for example number 4 to be our divisor and close the mod bracket, add +1 or 2, and then pressing comma. Let's have a different values to make it dynamically change it for these error bars to be going upward or downward. For example, let's have some numbers like 10, comma, -10, comma, 15, comma, -30. That's depending on your data visual or the data you need to visualize. And free some space for the text will be automatically retrieved from the table representing the milestone and the date also. So let's close our bracket and then press enter. Now let's drag our formula down there to the last row, so you will have that number. When you reach that stage, so congratulations, you have established the main structure of the timeline you would like to add. Then everything else will be more related to the layout and the formatting. So for example, we will select that axis, we don't need it, so we'll delete it, and then we will make it a little bit more bigger to include our data in. For the horizontal axis, let's select it, and from format axis we will go to axis options. From axis options, let's check tick marks, let's make it none, and for the axis options here, let's get down there to the labels and expand it. Instead of label position set as next to axis, let's select none. After that, we need to select the horizontal axis again like that and go to fill and line. From fill and line, you can choose the line, color, and the visual, how to be visualized inside your timeline. So let's select solid line. We are going to select the dark blue, and let's select the width as 4, for example. And then for the beginning arrow type, let's select it as circle. And for the end arrow type, let's select it as any visual you would prefer. So we are going to that arrow. And for feeling more professional, let's add some shadow to it. Let's select any shadow you would prefer. And for the color, let's select that one, for example. And we will do the same for this marker. Let's select any one of them so it will be all selected. Let's drop some shadow in it and do the same color, for example, like that. So now we have completed the main structure of our timeline, but now we need to add the data labels into it. So let's select it, and from that plus button we are going to select the data label. Let's select it, and after that let's select the data label that appeared here. So let's keep selecting the label option, and from that let's select label options and then start adding our data. So we are going to select category name, which representing the date. Let's remove the value, and finally value from cells. Let's select it. It will open a small window that asking you to include the data label range. So we're going to select the milestones from here and then press enter. So it's now added, but it's a little bit in a messy situation. And in order to divide the date and the milestones in separate lines, all we need to do is to go for the separator, and from the drop down we will use the new line. After using it, so it's separately, change it into a different lines. After that, we need to make a left line for the data, and a very small or tiny step. Let's select the entire areas that including our chart and shrink that part a little bit, and also get back to our labels. Let's color it as black, and then go again to the label options. From label options here, let's select the label position as right or left or blue as you prefer. Let's free some space for that again. like that. Okay, here we go. Now you have this visual including everything about your timeline and anything changed inside the table. For example, if we change it that 17th of July, which representing here that stage, into the 1st of August, and pressed enter, you can see that the line is changing or moving to the right side. Now just final fine tuning. Let's change that into the name of project. Let's rename it as project X, select it all and make it more bigger. Select black color, make it bold, underlined. That's it. So now everything is sorted for you for your timeline. You can use it for your project, for your future project, or even use it as a template. Finally, hoping that you liked the video and feel like it was helpful for you. If you really did, don't forget to give a thumb up and make sure to subscribe not to miss any of our upcoming videos. Remember that the file we use in that video is linked below in the description. You can download it and try it by yourself. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.